In a forest, there's a species of lizard that has three variations in color: green, brown, and red and blue. The population is in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. We can test this by doing a chi-square test. However, we must determine the allele and genotype frequencies first. To get the allele frequencies, we divide the total number of one of the alleles by the total number of all the alleles in the population. Once you get the frequency of one of the alleles, you can subtract that number by 1 to get the frequency of the other. In the Hardy-Weinberg equation, the P represents the frequency of the G allele and the Q represents the frequency of the B allele. You plug those into the equation to get your genotypic frequencies, and then you can do your chi-square test. We end up failing to reject our null hypothesis, so the population is consistent with Hardy-Weinberg proportions. But what if selection occurs in this lizard population? Well, first, selection occurs in a population when a certain phenotype provides an organism with a higher chance of survival, thus a higher likelihood of reproducing. So, more organisms with this phenotype will be present in the population in future generations. For example, say a species of fish have two variations in pattern, spots and stripes. In this ecosystem, the fish with spots are better suited because the surrounding coral display spots as well. They can camouflage more efficiently than their striped counterparts, meaning more striped fish will be eaten. The spotted fish will be able to reproduce, giving their better fit genes to their offspring, and there will be more fish with spots and stripes in the next generation. Selection violates the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium because, after one generation, there will be a higher frequency of the alleles or genotypes that produce the phenotype better fit for that ecosystem. If selection occurs, that means a certain lizard phenotype will have a higher fitness in the ecosystem. The brown lizards are the most fit. This means that stabilizing selection is occurring because it favors the genotype with both types of alleles, so the heterozygotes. When selection occurs, we have to determine the frequency of both the surviving population and the survivor's offspring. Since we have the frequencies of the initial genotypes in the population and the fitness values of each, we multiply those values to get the frequency of the survivors. Adding together all the survivors' frequencies, we get the average fitness. To get the frequency after selection, we divide each surviving genotype's frequency by the average fitness. If selection continues in the same way, the heterozygote population will continue to increase, dominating the ecosystem. The green and red and blue lizard populations will both decrease, with the red and blue lizards at higher risk of extinction. The red and blue lizards wouldn't actually go extinct though, because there will still be a B allele in the population. So why did stabilizing selection occur? Well, camouflage is essential to the survival of the lizards. In the forest, the leaf litter begins to accumulate, ultimately outnumbering the amount of greenery on the forest floor. Brown lizards begin to have an advantage over the others. As long as the amount of leaf litter continues to outnumber the greenery, the brown lizards will continue to survive and reproduce more than both the green and red and blue lizards in the population.